What kind of strange mutation hit Oswald Cobblepot in the 1992 version, making him practically a human-penguin hybrid? And why does the 2024 adaptation show him struggling with his leg? We'll tackle these intriguing questions about a familiar character in this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and enjoy! In this short episode, I want to talk about two of the most fascinating and well-regarded takes on the Penguin. Both made a lasting impression on me as a viewer. If the 2024 version turned out to be one of the standout comic book adaptations of recent years, earning not only praise in superhero circles but also respect in the crime genre, the 1992 version stands out for its special atmosphere. It brings together nostalgia and the one-of-a-kind fairy tale style of Tim Burton, which many of us remember so well from that era. In this video, I'll mainly focus on the Penguin from Batman Returns. Unfortunately, there's not much to say in detail about Colin Farrell's Penguin, but it wouldn't be right to skip him entirely. Batman Returns greets us with a wonderful wintry holiday mood. Since it's now December, this is the perfect time to discuss it. We have to look back 33 years before the main plot, at the wealthy Cobblepot household in Gotham. Their long-awaited newborn horrifies the attending nurses, and the father is shocked by what he sees. Mere weeks, or maybe just days later, the parents keep their firstborn locked in a cage meant for wild animals. Right in that scene, it's clear that the baby's hand, which grabs a nearby cat, doesn't have the usual 5 fingers. He cruelly kills the poor animal right there in the cage. It's hard to say if he tried to bite off something or not, but one thing is certain: we're dealing with a creature born to hunt. The baby's cry resembles the shriek of a wounded wild bird, and the icy Gotham Park setting only heightens the tension. These are the last sounds the parents hear before they toss the cradle into a river. The water carries it into the city sewers, and from there into the Arctic wing of Gotham's zoo, home to a flock of penguins. Here's a key point: the fact that Oswald Cobblepot, the name he'll later adopt, shows a predatory nature from birth might be linked to some supernatural forces, possibly the same ones that transformed Selina Kyle into Catwoman, another creature with predatory traits. Many believe that the local Catwoman's origin has nothing supernatural about it, but I've always seen it differently. In Tim Burton's film, mysticism, fantasy, and crime drama walk hand in hand, creating a unique gothic vibe. Still, the supernatural influence on Oswald is only part of the picture. There's more to come, so let's keep moving forward. After 33 years, Oswald Cobblepot steps into the public eye in a way that doesn't really match who he truly is. The child once abandoned by his parents due to his physical oddities becomes a seasoned crime boss. We also find out that at some point, Oswald ended up in a traveling circus troupe, performing under the stage name Arctic Bird. In that circus, Oswald amazed audiences with his incredible underwater swimming skills. At one point, he turns the circus performers into his own well-equipped gang and returns to Gotham with their help. Now we can take a closer look at a congenital condition he has, known as syndactyly, when the fingers or toes grow fused together. For Oswald, his fingers have fused from the middle finger down to the pinky, and the same goes for his toes. This explains his distinctive way of walking. Surprisingly, this anatomy makes him an excellent swimmer. He even refers to his hands as flippers. And you know what? He's not shy about his appearance at all. He's so confident, he openly tells women he can please them with his flippers, although he takes rejection very hard. The main thing about Burton's version of Oswald is that he doesn't just look like a penguin. He basically is one, in human form. Maybe not down to every detail, but generally that's the case. His diet is purely raw fish, and on this non-stop keto diet, he never loses weight. Like real penguins, he stores a lot of fat, which makes him look even more penguin-like. This extra fat layer changes his body proportions, making his arms seem set lower. For the same reason, he can't stand warmth. He needs cold surroundings and even uses an air conditioner to stay comfortable. Despite seeming a bit clumsy, Oswald is actually very strong. When he needs to, he can move quickly on land. Penguins are great jumpers, and he can jump pretty well too. On top of that, he has a congenital nasal deformity that gives his nose a bird-like beak shape. So, it seems the mysterious forces that turned the Cobblepot's firstborn into a penguin man are indeed at play here. But it's not that simple. While these forces made him a predator from birth, there's another key factor Oswald himself mentioned more than once. It all comes down to the kind of toxic waste commonly found in fantasy stories, which Max Schreck's factories dumped into the city's sewers, where Oswald spent most of his childhood. He often recalls this place, It was these poisonous effluents that turned him into a human-penguin hybrid, giving him the appearance of the species that surrounded and essentially raised him in his early years. It's a classic setup reminiscent of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Another striking detail of this penguin's look is his abundant dark green saliva. According to the creators, they weren't aiming for any deep medical logic here. They just wanted the character to look more repulsive. Danny DeVito achieved this by mixing regular mouthwash with food coloring. However, in the scene of his death, there's so much of this fluid flowing from his mouth that calling it just saliva isn't possible anymore. We clearly see a difference between this substance and blood. If we theorize a bit, we might guess it's actually saliva mixed with gastric juice. We know that some birds do have greenish gastric fluids. Why would Oswald need so much of it? Certain penguin species swallow pebbles to help digest their food. Oswald probably doesn't do that, so maybe the extra gastric juice serves as a kind of substitute, helping his unusual man-penguin biology. The death scene of Oswald Cobblepot is one of the film's most intense and emotional moments, especially when watched as a child. He dies, and the penguins, who had become his true family, gently carry his body to the icy water he cherished so much. The 2024 penguin from the DC Universe's namesake series is indeed a great example of solid acting and directing. As I mentioned before, it's hard to go into much detail about him in this video, but I'll say a few words anyway. Despite his physical issues, this version of Oz is incredibly strong and has a will of steel. We could spend more time analyzing his personal qualities, but that's another topic. If you're interested in a separate video on that, let me know in the comments. Let's take a look at the very first episode of the first season, where we get a close-up view of what caused his limp. Interestingly, the limp itself gives the character a certain charm and unique appeal. The cause is a congenital physical condition presented in the show with a rather harsh, even body horror-like approach. The show's creators clearly identified his congenital defect as clubfoot, where the foot turns inward relative to the leg's axis, causing the joints to bear weight in an unnatural way. For Oswald, this results in constant pain. Clubfoot often comes with issues affecting the toes as well. According to the creators, the exact look of his toe deformities is largely due to the makeup team's artistic choices. But if you check medical references, such conditions do occur, most commonly affecting the big toe. Experts note that most of these birth defects can be corrected, especially if treatment starts early. That way, the interventions required are much less drastic. The showrunners mentioned that Oswald's mother didn't have the money for timely treatment back then. On top of that, she partly wanted her son to overcome his challenges on his own, toughening his character. In the end, this foot problem shaped a lot of who Oswald became. But no matter how you look at it, the penguin story isn't about someone born as a criminal mastermind. It's about how sometimes, before you leave this world, all you really want is a good long drink of cold water. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. See you next time.